How's it going, Critter Family? I hope you all are doing well. Today we are back at it with part 2, I guess day 2 of Miracle Canine Dog Training, working with these very fearful pot cake dogs, I believe is the name of the breed, from some very small island somewhere. But it says how to take massively fearful dogs in public first time ever. It's not their first time ever in public. Clearly the owner has stated that this is all very misleading, but the owner has stated he's taken the dogs on the island. I cannot tell you which island. You can look at the first part or look at his original video. The owner had taken them to a few different social gatherings, and in doing so, I talk all about this in the first video, so I'll leave that description down below. I'll leave that in the description down below, rather. If you want to see this original video, then check it out first, then you can come check out mine. I'm not going to be covering the whole video, but just little parts of it. In the first 25 seconds, I heard him already mention a pinch collar, a prong collar, on this very nervous dog, so it goes to show I'm not a fan of this guy anyway. But apparently he's going to take him out. He has a one-track mind. Day one, I'm going to get these dogs to walk on leash. Day 2, we're going to take him out in public. Day 3, he doesn't know at all what he's doing, in my opinion. You need to hold more accountability towards humans. Hold yourself accountable. I hold myself accountable. Don't make the same mistakes I did. Don't make the mistakes these people continue to do and make and teach and reinforce. If you make mistakes, just learn from it. But it's not the dog's fault. It's not a dog problem. It is a human problem. So with all that said, if you like him, go support him by all means. Go watch him, support him, pay for his training, whatever. I'm not going to tell you not to. So let's get started.
Worked up, started some really basic leash communication.
Lip lick.
Long way to go still. Been doing some socials with other dogs.
Look at how she's leaning away from him. Whale eyes, tail still tucked, rounded top line, lip lick.
Progressing pretty well with that.
She's terrifying.
We're only in day 2 right now. And predominantly what I'm looking to see over the next 24 hours is that a lot of that big time resistance on the leash when
over the next one day, he expects them to be perfect on leash, or that's his goal, within 2 days. Goes to show you, in my opinion, that's just a joke. I wouldn't even on day 2 be holding a leash from them. I wouldn't have them in a board and train. That's the worst thing you can do for these dogs because they're so fearful. You need to teach the owner how to continue socializing and working with them in a proper and appropriate manner. That actually helps them. That doesn't just flood them. This is learned helplessness.
Scared, so the bucking, bronking, stuff like that starts to dissipate a little bit.
It wouldn't happen if you have to work on dissipating the bucking, as he calls it. Trying to run away. The dog is trying to escape because they're so fearful of you. When you apply pressure, you apply it too much. This is not a situation where you even start with applying pressure on the leash. I will have left a link of Kiko pup showing how to use pressure and release in the description of part 1. As well as, how I teach loose leash. But I wouldn't even be worried about these guys learning leash skills or leash communication in the first place.
Into some of our next stages of pinch collar training.
You, sir, should not be charging anyone anything. You need to go back. You need to go to school, period. Clearly, you have never been to school for working with a dog because nothing needs a prong collar, not a pinch collar, prong collar, especially not a fearful dog. We're probably not going to get very far in this video, but here's the title if you want to go see it.
To get into later today with them.
You know why they use those tools? Because he has no skills, he has no education, it's the one tool in his toolbox. And he uses it with every single dog, even one terrified. Look at this.
So what I want to do next...
Look at this dog. She's just cowering. This is learned helplessness. And this is an idiot who ignores it and just wants to stroke his own ego.
I want to take them outside. We're just going to do a teeny bit outside with them because the weather is pretty dicey out there right now.
This poor dog. It doesn't take a genius or a behaviorist or a dog trainer educated in anything to see that this dog is not comfortable. But, a lot of people want to remain blind and ignorant, and they don't want to see the truth of what this is. They want to say, oh, she's being dramatic. Oh, I'm being dramatic by saying this dog is terrified. Okay. You know, it's a free country. So if you want to say that, you can say that, you can think that, but
I want to get them used to being outside, around traffic, stuff like that.
They're not even ready for that. They don't even know how to be on a leash. They don't need to be around traffic. Training takes time. It's not just on a schedule. Today we're doing this, today we're doing this, the next day we're doing this, blah, 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 blah. Monday we're doing this, Tuesday we're doing this. That's not how training works, especially with the fearful dog. And the fact that he just acts like it's so normal. And then we have all these cards here, probably from people saying, oh, thank you, you helped my dog, you helped Snooky, you helped this and that, because everybody sees it as a dog problem and not the human problem. Because they took their dog there, they don't take accountability that they screwed their dog up, or they didn't listen to their dog's problems that their dog was telling them, giving them red flags. I'm nervous, I'm scared. You know, people want to say, oh, I have a vicious dog. We take him to dog daddy, he abuses them for 4 hours. And then, oh, he's great, my dog is calm. Your dog is tired, he's exhausted, he's shut down. He's developed a learned helplessness that nobody listens to him. But no, you as the human see it as calm. Because you don't want to see the truth. You want to remain blind and ignorant. And now it's the blind leading the blind. Slip lead. What did I tell you? Of course he's going to have a slip lead. I told you, I guaranteed it in the last video. He would be using a slip lead on these dogs. He also has a much smaller collar on. He's not even using the martingale. He's using a slip lead very high behind the head. You know why they do that? Because you get more pain and more compliance. More control over the dog. Now, because she's a flight risk, the martingale would have been enough with a slip lead as a backup in case something should break. That would be one thing, okay? But it's not. He only has the slip lead. It's a noose. He does it for training.
Ew.
Doesn't even let her sniff.
Conditioning a dog to those types of things, you get them focused on a particular task and it takes 50% of their attention on things. We're still adopting that exact same philosophy with what we're doing right now. So we got this freaking plow truck here making all sorts of noise. You can tell she's definitely nervous of it. And the first handful of times the thing went, you can see she like jumps a little bit.
I wonder if, I was going to say if he has booties on the dogs. Of course he doesn't, because that's not a problem on him. One time, I will give him that credit. But I would be careful of if there's salt or ice on the sidewalk. I wouldn't have the dog standing on that because that can certainly hurt their feet, especially if you can't put booties on them. Adonis was a master at kicking off every kind of booty I put on him. I would have to cut off circulation to make it tight enough. I would even get those little rubber booties that look like little balloons, and he was just so cute. He'd make little noises. He hated them. But when it was really icy or salty outside, I would make sure to do that. Or I would just carry him. I'm not saying that's an option for these dogs. That's one thing I'm not hating on him on. I'm just saying that, make sure that you're aware of that so you can keep them off of that. When it comes to, this is also pressure and release. We have a noisy truck here. I wouldn't start here, because it's way too easy for the dog. If the dog is shut down, they're probably not really learning much. But if I am to a point where I can teach them to start accepting noises, then I would stand at whatever distance where the dog is comfortable. They're able to sit down if they want to. They're not focused on everything around them like a chicken on crack, their head going everywhere. The truck will be making noise and we're just sitting there, and they can look at the truck, and as long as they're not reacting, I can give them a little treat, or we can move over somewhere else. They can sniff and be a dog. They can hear the truck making noise, but they're not fearful. They're not reacting. If they start reacting, I increase distance.
All right, a very, very sensitive nervous system to those types of things. And see, just like that, right? And I'm allowing her to do that. If she wants to move away from it, she can. If she wants to investigate and move towards it, she can. But there is still a rule. So I'm still enforcing the 50-50 rule of if you get too far, you try to dart too far away, I'm going to enforce the expectation of you needing to stay within this.
You're an idiot. The fact that she's darting, that word is very specific. Darting away means that she's way too... her tail is talking more. She's way too overstimulated in this situation. She shouldn't even be here. So I have that expectation of you, reinforcing you be on this loose leash. Well, you're a dummy.
Leash. The difference
so then
is,
we
again,
just randomly bring her into
a Home Depot.
That feels good.
on probably a prong collar.
Around no people.
So this is the brother. This is the male dog who has done better.
So instead of the light leash pressure to get him to stop, we'll start increasing that into a little bit more of a pop.
Ouch. So he's wearing a prong collar because this guy's an idiot and he has to use a prong collar. Or maybe maybe it is a slip lead. I don't know. I can't tell. But he has some kind of a metal chain here. Maybe it's a martingale. Maybe it's a prong collar. I don't know. But instead of the light tug, which is how you teach dog, you don't need a tug anyway, which is how you teach dogs to be soft on leash, he's going up because he's going backwards in training because he doesn't know anything. He's going to a pop where you're going to make the dog more, as I would say for a horse, loud-mouthed or hard-mouthed, where the louder you get with your hands, the louder you make your dog, which means they listen to you less. It takes more force to get them to pay attention to you. So he's screwing the dog up even more. One, it's fearful. It doesn't need this. No dog needs it. And two, you're going to make it you're going to make everybody need to pop it to make it respond versus just a light finger tug.
To make sure that he's stopping and paying attention to me when he starts getting out too far.
Well, if you actually knew anything and you were positive, if you give this dog one piece of hot dog every 5 minutes, he would be looking at you because he wants to, not because he has to, because he's a slave.
This is how we do it, right?
This is an ego problem. Because we want 50-50, you should be focusing on me. Well, you're not giving him anything positive to make him want to focus on you. So he only focuses on you because you're the slave driver and he's the slave. And if he doesn't listen, he gets popped on the neck with a damn slip lead or probably a prong collar.
We start creating our expectation and holding them to that expectation.
You have way too high expectations, buddy. You have unnecessary expectations. That's just it, is that we as the human get to have this ego and this expectation because we got Napoleon complex, we got a small penis, we've got mommy issues, whatever the hell it is. We have ego issues, and so we take it out on an animal because we don't have any respect for anybody else. We don't have respect for the animal, but we expect everything to respect us.
Start noticing
Ouch.
Where they test that boundary a little too much.
They're not testing any boundary. You haven't taught them anything. You're just taking advantage of an animal with your own ignorance because you don't know anything. Great, then he brings the female in there and does the same thing. And this is dog 2. This is day 2. This guy is just, he's a joke. He's a joke. But that's how I feel about it. And apparently, he has videos of exactly how to build confidence with a fearful dog. It's not exactly the opposite. Exactly how not to build confidence in a fearful dog. This is flooding. This is overstimulation. This is learned helplessness. This guy's a joke. I don't agree with him one bit. But if you do, then by all means go support him. It's not going to bother me any. What I have to say about him does not mean that I think anything of that towards anybody else who follows him. This is just me being honest. And a lot of times dog trainers can't be honest. But I will. So I hope you all are doing well. Be sure to give your little critters some kind of loving. Say howdy do for me. And until next time, practice patience, peace, and positivity.